Welcome to Namaste at Home. I'm Jolynn, and I will be your trustee leader this morning, hopefully. So today you'll need a block or something like it, a small hand towel, or maybe a yoga strap if you have it, a blanket nearby if you've got it. If not, no worries, we'll make do without it. Yesterday was graduation day at Nordonia High School, and I do have a senior this year. He had his last advanced placement test yesterday at 4 o'clock, cleaned out his locker at 10 o'clock. Mom made him stay and walk through all the 300 signs that they had up there for the seniors. And you know, boys, they get irritated with moms for taking too many pictures, and he'll love me for it later in life. But one thing that the band did for them this week was to create a little video and ask them some questions out of a little survey that they did, and the kids sent in photos from memories from band. And I wanted to share something, Aiden's words of wisdom from that. Sometimes you wonder as a parent if you're getting through to your kid, and as a yoga teacher, I always wonder if I'm getting through to people. So I felt like, all right, I might be doing something right here. He said, for his words of wisdom, do what you enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy what you're doing in the moment, you won't enjoy life itself. So do what you love to do. Hey, that's pretty good. If like that's all you get out of life, do what you love to do, and if you need to enjoy the moment to enjoy your life. I think that's pretty awesome. So happy graduation to all the Nordonia seniors. A bittersweet day, not what we planned on as we watched you grow up, but it's what we have. The community gave us a lovely parade last night, and it was super sweet and super awesome to see the community support our seniors that way. So today, as you come to your easy seat to begin your practice, I want you to close your eyes and connect to your breath. And maybe you can take yourself back to that moment when you were a senior and your graduation, and this place where the world was your oyster, right? Everything was possible. Take a moment to reflect on that and where you've gone from there. Begin to notice your place on the earth, and if your seat is grounded, and rise up from there, from the sit bones to the shoulders, roll them onto your back, curl the corners of your mouth up, and from your tailbone all the way up through the spine to the crown of your head, get a little longer. As a yoga teacher, maybe once, maybe 1,000 times I've said, be present, live in the moment, as a reminder not only to my students, but to myself as well. Enjoy being exactly where you are. Having a plan is a good thing. And being methodical can be a good thing. Letting yourself be open to the moment and organic. Experiencing the joy of life is also a good thing. As you move through this practice today, allow yourself to experience this moment, to find that glimpse of joy in each pose, wherever you can find it. Let go of all the attachments and the preconceived notions of what it should be, and let it be what it is. Because if you're not enjoying the moment, you're not going to enjoy your life. Draw your hands to heart center. Bow your head to your heart, thumbs to your third eye, bowing the wisdom of the head to that all-knowing wisdom of the heart. Honor the you that you were when you were a senior, and the you that you are now, and the journey that you've taken to get there. And return your hands to your heart and begin to blink your eyes open. Reach your arms up to the sky and find how wonderful arms. How wonderful is this day? How wonderful is this moment that we get the privilege of experiencing? So soften the elbows, lift your palms to the sky in a mudra of receiving the goodness of this moment and the goodness of this day. Draw your shoulders onto your back and lift the upper chest, lift your heart. Take another breath in here. Begin to slowly turn those palms down and reach your fingertips behind you onto your blanket or onto the earth. Bending your elbows straight back, roll your shoulders back, lift your heart up a tiny bit more. Draw your throat back, your ears back. Open to this moment, to this day, to this feeling in your body, whatever it is. And slowly release that energy. Roll your hands back up to the sky, palms join, steeple your fingers, take a little bend to the left, anchoring into your right seat, stretch your right ribs, and bring it back to center and bend to the right. A deep breath in here, and a full breath out. Return to center. Bring your hands to your knees and find a sloppy little cat stretch. Rolling back, soften, draw your chin in. Hang on to your knees so you don't roll all the way back. And tuck your chin in. Find some softness through your back body. Hanging onto your knees, begin to slowly peel your heart forward, ribs forward, chin up, smile. Do that one more time, rolling back into that sloppy, soft little cat stretch here. Hang on to your knees for balance. And breathe into the whole length of the spine, tailbone to head. Hanging onto the knees again, begin to slowly peel the ribs forward, heart up, chest up. And find neutral here. Blink your eyes open. Bring yourself to a puppy pose on your mat. So starting in puppy today, you can pad your knees too if you have a blanket. Bring your knees back so that your hips are over your knees. And walk your hands forward so your tailbone and your sitting bones reach up to the heavens. You can place your forehead on a block or on the earth. And literally like that puppy stretching in the morning sun, walk the hands forward, head to the mat, curl your toes, wake up the soles of your feet, and breathe. Lift your gaze between your thumbs. You can stay right here or start to walk yourself back to child's pose, balasana, big toes touch, heels and knees apart, and soften back into a second pose. Otherwise stay with your puppy pose. Begin to take your gaze forward between your thumbs again. Shift yourself to a wide plank pose. So lift those knees and widen your feet out. Stretch back into your heels. Start to wake up your calves a little bit. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Take a breath in and soften those knees. Start to glide your sitting bones, tailbone up to a downward facing dog with super uber bent knees here. Maybe pedaling a little bit, hovering your knees, shake your head out. Let it be a little more organic this morning. Find some space. And then shift again to plank and shift back to dog. Do that a few times. And start to wake up your whole body. Maybe stretch a leg long. Let it be super wiggly, super you. Whatever you're feeling like this morning. Maybe you're still in child, and that's okay too. And take that up and back another time. Begin to slowly step your feet to Tadasana width and walk forward. And as we walk forward, we're going to take our feet wide again. So bringing the feet a little wider than the hips, bend your knees, peace fingers to your big toes, maybe hands to a block. Bend your knees a lot so your ribs can connect to your inner thighs, and shake your head out no and yes. Now with this being said, if you've got issues with blood pressure or glaucoma, you're going to stay up at this halfway lift. Elbows on the thighs. Probably not a good idea to drop your head that low. So pay attention and do whatever you need this morning. Your path, your journey, right? And just hanging out, maybe start to play a little bit with bending and stretching the legs. Notice how your hamstrings are feeling this morning. But keep it sweet. Don't move with any speed this morning. Just keep it slow. Maybe shake your head out. Begin to come up to that halfway lift, and you can release your peace fingers from your toes. Bring your hands up to your low back and rise to stand. Stretch all the way up. Steeple your fingers again and bend to the right. Stretching from the sole of that left foot to your fingertips. And bring it back to center and bend to the left. Take another breath in here. Come back to center. Hands to your heart. Step yourself to center all the way up at the top of your mat. And adjust your clothing, as I seem to do a lot. Shake out your arms, separate your legs, feet are hip width in Tadasana. Lift and spread your toes. Activate the soles of your feet, and with your in-breath, rise up. Unlock your knees with your exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back, right foot, right knee down. Low lunge. Curled or uncurled toes, rise up, how wonderful, arms. Soften the elbows, the shoulders, roll your heart up to the sky. And keep it going, steeple your fingers, take a breath in here. Little Charlie's Angels move this morning, so take those steepled fingers and bring them to the outside of that left thigh for a little twist. Draw your belly in, take your gaze to the earth. And with your next breath, reach those fingertips up. Curl your right toes. Now your option here, if it's challenging for you to lift that right knee and keep your hands steepled, bring your hands down to the earth. Otherwise, curl your toes, lift your knee. Coming into a deep high lunge here. Draw your belly in, squeeze your feet together, power up your core, power up your legs. Take a breath in. Bring your hands down to frame your foot or to a block. Stretch your legs long. Hamstring stretch. We're not lowering that back heel to the earth. Keep it hovering. Keep the left knee unlocked. Chest can reach forward. Or perhaps as we move through these flows at the beginning here, you can start to bow towards that knee. Let yourself be open to some play today. You know I'm all about play. I'm all about joy. Join me. Take another breath in here. Bend into your knee. Plant your hands. Plank pose. Activate your core. Dog pose. Send your hips up and back. Oh, stretch. This time we'll lengthen that right leg up to the sky. Take a breath in here. Stretch in all directions. Curl your knee in and step through. Low lunge. Drop your left knee this time. Toes can be curled or uncurled. Rise up. Whoop, how wonderful. Arms, open it up, soften your elbows, palms flip up. Glide the shoulder blades onto your back. Maybe a little shimmy this morning. Take a breath in here. Squeeze the feet together. Lift your heart. Make space in the neck and the throat. Now steeple your fingers. Reach up. And take those little Charlie's Angels arms over to the outer right thigh. Draw your belly in. Stay tall through your spine. Bring those steepled fingers just beyond that right thigh. With your next breath, reach your arms up. Now here again, you can curl those back toes and lift your knee. And if that doesn't serve you, I want you to bring your hands down to lift your knee. Then you can rise back up to steepled fingers. Nice deep high lunge. Squeeze your feet together. Extend up from the hips to the armpits to the fingertips. Take another breath in here. Slowly lower your fingertips to the floor and lengthen your front leg. Hamstrings, good morning. Be super kind. Soften into that right knee, maybe a little bend and extend here. Left heel is still floating. Deep breath. Full exhale. Again, you can have that block. You can start to work your way down towards your thigh, but do your best to keep your hips in balance. Drawing that right hip back, left hip softens forward. Soften into your right knee, step forward, forward bend. Inhale to a half lift, and exhale to let go. Root to rise all the way up to stand, stretch up, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach your arms wide and up. Exhale, wide arms, forward bend. Halfway lift, let it go. Again, the left foot steps back, the left knee drops down. Yes, we're on the same side, low lunge. We're doing the same flow, just a little more quickly. Inhale, reach up. How wonderful. Arms, lift your heart. Steeple your fingers. Take that little Charlie's Angels twist beyond your thigh. Inhale, reach up. Toes curled or hands to the mat. Lift for that deep high lunge. Squeeze your feet together. Hands to the mat, hamstring stretch. Extend your leg long, maybe lift and spread those toes. And if your toes are lifted, lower them to the mat, plank pose, step back, pause here, connect to your core. Downward facing dog, stretch a little bit, bend and stretch, play. Ears right between the biceps, knees are soft, tailbone lifts and stretch down from the hips to the hands, down from the tailbone to the heels. Float forward again, plank pose, pause right there. Downward facing dog, exhale. Left leg extends, three-legged dog, take a breath. Again, extending out in all directions. Curl in, step through, low lunge. We're floating into how wonderful arms. Inhale, rise up, open it up. Chest lifts, palms flip. Elbows are soft. Take a breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, steeple the fingers. Exhale, little Charlie's Angels twist. Bringing your steepled hands to the outer left thigh. Pull your belly in, still staying really tall through the spine. Inhale, reach up. Again, you can bring your hands down or simply curl those back toes to lift your right knee. Squeeze the left heel and the right toes towards one another. Extend up through the side body. Take one more breath. Hands come down, leg is long, hamstring stretch, Parsvottanasana. Back heel floats. Maybe you want to lift and spread those left toes this time as your hamstrings start to lengthen. Maybe you want to fold towards that left leg a little bit. Take one more breath where you are. If your toes are lifted, lower them, bend both knees, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let go. Bring that block in, bring it right in front of your feet. Rise all the way up to stand, stretch up. Steepled fingers, bend to the left first this time. Bring it back to center and bend to the right. And bring it back to center, hands to the heart. Take the left foot and step it behind the block at the center of the block. Take the right foot and cross it behind the left. Begin to spin your heels slightly away from one another. So you can see that my toes aren't in line. For some of you they might be, but mine aren't. Soften your knees a little bit and start to hinge from the hips. So allow your chest to come forward, sitting bones to come back. Keep both knees nice and soft. So you can bring your hands down to the blocks. You might need to bring it up another level. And kind of hang out here, bend and stretch, working through the hamstrings, and maybe you're getting into your IT and outer hip a little bit here. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Exploring, doing something new this morning, right? So keep those sitting bones, tailbone gliding back, heart gliding forward. And bring your hands back to your hips, rise on up to stand, uncross your legs, give them a little shake. And then step the right foot behind the block to the center of the block. Take your left toes behind your right. And again, we're kind of spinning those heels away from one another. My toes aren't in line, but yours might be. Take a breath in here. Bring your hands to your waist, and again, hinging from the hips, glide the sitting bones, tailbone back, heart forward. And maybe bring those hands to the block. Keep a softness to your knees, a little bend and stretch here. Maybe you can bend forward a little bit more. Again, let it be playful, explore. Don't be attached to this imaginary place that your pose needs to go this morning. And bringing your hands back up to the block, lift up, rise all the way up to stand. Unwind your legs and give them a little shake. And you can set that block to the side. You might need it as we flow through here. I'm actually going to put it over here because we're going to step forward right first. So lift and spread your toes. Soften your knees, reach up. Pass through how wonderful arms, soft elbows, flip the palms up, lift your heart, strong core, unlock those knees, find some joy right here. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you flip those hands down and interlace behind you to lift your heart, elbows back. Heart reaches and stretches up. Again, maybe you're staying with those how wonderful arms. Draw your throat back, ears back, hanging out right here. Take another breath in. Slowly soften your knees, we're bowing forward. If you stayed with those how wonderful arms, reach your arms up and just touch the floor as you come down. Keep the knees soft. Unlock your jaw, unlock your neck, shake your head out no and yes. Separate your teeth. Notice where you're gripping, where you're clenching, where you are attached. And slowly release your hands to the earth if you had a little bind there. Step yourself back, plank pose. And this time we'll flow through. Take a breath in, coming down through knees and chest and chin. Or maybe chaturanga to your back bend of choice. So perhaps that's a little cobra pose, shoulders back, heart forward. Perhaps it's really low and your hands can hover above the floor. Perhaps your spine has a little more bandwidth this morning and you're wiggling into a higher Bhujangasana cobra pose. And of course, as always, that's up to you. Hi Natalie, hi Vicky. Take a breath in here and slowly release, coming back to the earth. Curl your toes, lift your seat, downward facing dog. Now this time, just bring your feet to hip width, your hands to the right width, and bend and stretch. Shake your head out. Stepping down onto that left foot, lift your right leg high, maybe bend, twist, and open this time. Maybe circle those toes or circle your knee. Maybe you can write your name in the air. Extend your legs, square everything up, and step through to warrior two. Bring that back heel down and rise with your breath. Flip your palms, how wonderful arms. Soften your elbows, soften your shoulders, and just bring your head right in line with your tailbone. Maybe even take your gaze to the side of your mat rather than forward. Squeeze your feet together, take a breath in here, pull your belly in, get really radiant. Now interlace your hands again behind your back. Now, if that's too much for you, I want you to grab that strap or grab that hand towel and just place that about hip width behind you. Take a breath in here, bow to the inside of your thigh like you could attach your right ribs to your inner right thigh. Keep stretching your arms back, whether you have the towel or you're interlaced. Take a breath in here and start to roll your chest to the left. Still attached, ribs still attached to the inner thigh. Soften your shoulders, soften your elbows, draw your belly in and open your chest. Take another breath in. Keeping that clasp, begin to rise up. Release the clasp, reverse your warrior, maybe taking a little half bind there. Squeeze your feet together, draw your belly in, get long. And cartwheel your hands to the floor, step back plank. Knees and chest and chin, or maybe a chaturanga to your cobra, to your Urdhva Mukha, upward facing, maybe Sphinx pose. I'm loving my high cobra today, so you do you. Explore. Breathe into that. Exhale, release to your dog pose. And you can come all through all of this in a table rather than coming to dog if you prefer it. You can take three-legged table, open it up, step forward, all the same transitions. Extend long through your left leg this time. Again, get really bright in all directions. Stack your hips maybe. Maybe circle your toes or circle your knee in the air. And start to open up those hips a little bit more. Take another breath. Extend and square everything off. Curl in and step through. Warrior two, bringing that back heel to the mat. Rise all the way up to those how wonderful arms, bringing head in line with tail. Again, maybe you turn your head in the direction of the long edge of your mat. Explore a little bit this morning. Squeeze your feet together, draw your belly in, let your collarbone smile, let your face smile. Take another breath in and out. Begin to interlace your hands behind your back, or you're going to grab your towel or your strap. Stretch your chest forward, smile those collarbones wide. Begin to turn to the inside of the left foot, as if you could attach the left ribs to the left inner thigh. Go as low as you can get. Maybe you're just topping out over the ribs. That's cool too. Bring your ribs as close as you can to the left inner thigh. Keep those elbows soft. Chest expands. Squeeze the feet together and roll open. Draw your belly in. Keep those legs strong. Keep them squeezed into the midline of the mat. One more breath in here. Keep the bind as you rise and reverse. Release your arms. Maybe take a half bind with that right arm or take it down your back leg. Just resting it there lightly, not pushing. Take another breath in here. Cartwheel your hands down. Step back plank. And flow through. Knees and chest and chin or chaturanga. Coming to your back bend of choice. Meet me in a downward facing dog. Toes curl, hips lift. Take a child's pose or a puppy pose. And settle in. Maybe bringing your hands behind your heart in prayer, or perhaps settling them next to your heels. Take a moment to notice what's buzzing around in your head this morning. If there's anything in particular you're attaching to, or maybe a sweet memory of your own graduation that's come up today. Every time we come to the mat, it's a new opportunity to explore, a new path to take, and you are your guide. As much as I'm here speaking, they are your choices. Slowly begin to curl yourself up from a child's pose. And come up to a little toe sit. Curl your toes. We're just waking up the soles of those feet. You can manually manipulate the pinky toe away from the other toes.
Inhale and stretch up, steeple your fingers again. Get long through the side body, strong in your core. Take a breath. We're doing that little Charlie's Angels twist again. So take the steepled fingers over to the outer right thigh. Staying really tall, weight in the heels. If it gets to be too much for your feet, you're going to release your toes to the floor. See if you can hang out with me for a few moments here. Draw your belly in, take a breath in. On your next in-breath, sweep your arms up. Take that Charlie's Angels twist to the left. Gazes at the floor. Pull your belly in and weight your hips back onto your heels. Feel your feet energized and waking up here. You're silently cursing me, I know, but that's okay. I can't hear you, so it doesn't matter. Inhale, stretch all the way up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Uncurl your toes and tap them on the floor. Nice job. Let's come back to our flow. Walk your hands forward a hand crank. Curl your toes again. Downward facing dog. Extend your right leg, three-legged dog. Now here's where you might need the block on the strap. Bend, twist, and open. Take a breath. Extend your legs, square your hips, step through. Warrior two. How wonderful arms. Bring the back heel down and rise with your breath. Soften your shoulders, soften your heart. Squeeze your feet together. Nice deep breath in here. Full breath out. Interlace your hands again or grab your towel. Stretch your heart open, elbows soft, and pin those right ribs to the right inner thigh. Roll open as if you had taken a bind. Draw your belly in, stretch your heart open, deep breath in, full breath out. With your next breath, rise to reverse. Maybe you want to take that half bind with the left arm. Open it back up. How wonderful arms. Here is where you will have some options. I'm keeping this knee bent, so I'm holding with you here. And if you need to straighten your leg, do that and explore. So you can maybe take that block to the inside of your foot, find a little resistance with your elbow to start to peel this left hip open. Maybe you'll peel your arm open. Maybe you can take a bind. So I'm going to wrap my towel back there so that I can reach my right arm through for the towel. I'll take that left arm back for the towel, as if I were taking a half bind there. Reach underneath for the towel. Oops, yeah, yes. So I've got the towel with my left hand behind my back and with my right hand underneath. Now this is not the bind I want you to have. I want you to still peel the chest open. Rolling that left shoulder open. Find some resistance with the right elbow. And again, you can do the same thing without actually taking the bind. You can do the same thing with right hand on the block, left hand to the sky or up and above your ear. Roll the shoulders back, heart open. This is why I want you to have the strap or the towel. It's challenging to do it when you've got hands or wrists. Maybe you can turn your gaze up to the sky. Maybe you can lift the corners of your mouth. Maybe you can squeeze your feet together. Maybe you're cursing me, and that's okay too. Take a breath in here. Breath out one more time. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Release your bind. Warrior two. Stretch all your limbs. How wonderful arms. Oh my gosh, how wonderful it feels to lengthen that right leg. Stretch your heart open. Bend into your knee and bring it down to the earth. Plank pose. Again, maybe you want to flow through, maybe not. Maybe you want to come back for a three-legged dog and twist out that right leg. Because that feels pretty darn good, I'm not going to lie. Woo! Coming back, right leg long, three-legged dog. Take a breath in here. We're coming in for a little pigeon. So if pigeon does not work for you, I want you to come into Bharadvajasanas, twist in the legs. So 90-90, more than a pigeon. So you can either come into proper pigeon, lengthening back through that left leg, so you're getting a big stretch to this right hip, or maybe a little less of a stretch to that right hip, but keeping the knees soft, all right? And if you're on 90-90 knees, stretch over towards that right knee. If you're in proper pigeon, lengthen back through that leg and maybe bring your elbows to a block or to the earth. So all these options are good ones. If you want to come onto your back for figure four, you can do that. I don't want to give you too many options and confuse you, so hang out right there with your breath. Take another breath in and out here. Not holding this one too long. Slowly start to make your way back to a downward facing dog. So whether you're coming from those 90 knees or pigeon pose, start to make your way back and pedal that dog out. If you need a flow through, you can take a flow through if you like. All your choices, your journey this morning. Feel free to explore. And take your left leg long, bend, twist, and open. Coming back into that flow again, so make sure you have the towel or the strap or the block. Extend your legs, square your hips, warrior two. Not my best side, but I'm going to stay with this morning. Open it up. How wonderful arms. Thus the angle of my mat, so you're not getting my full back side this morning. Breath in, soften the shoulders, soften the heart. Keep squeezing those feet together through the whole thing. Flip your palms interlace, stretch your heart open, begin to bow and pin the left ribs to the inner thigh and roll your chest open. Keep your elbows soft, heart wide. So imagine that you can expand your collarbones a little bit wider. You can see that I'm kind of hovering above my thigh to do that on this side. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Squeeze the feet together again. Slowly rise and take that reverse warrior. Maybe with a half bind, maybe down the back leg. Take one more breath where you are. And as you exhale, we're coming into that Parsvakonasana shape. So either that block is coming to the instep of your foot, hand to the block, right arm to the sky or above your ear, or you're taking that bind with the strap or with your towel, reaching behind your waist with your right hand to grab the strap or towel under your left leg to pin your right upper arm or left upper arm underneath. Then we roll open, all right? So don't feel the need to collapse in just to grasp your hands. That's why you have the strap or towel. Roll the chest open, right shoulder open, squeeze your feet together. You know your options. You can still put your hand on the block. You don't have to have this bind. Resist your elbow if your hand is on that block or on the earth. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath here. You got it. Slowly come back up to warrior two. Stretch all your limbs. How wonderful is it to unlock that left knee? Take the bend out of that left knee. Ooh, and slowly cartwheel hands to the earth. Step it back. 3-legged dog. Maybe take a little twist here. We're coming back into that release for the left leg again. So maybe pigeon, maybe 90 knees. So maybe we're coming here with a block or a blanket under that hip or under your forearms. Maybe that's too much on your knees. If you have knee or hip issues, I'd rather that you just came to 90 through your knees, right? Simple. And if you're there, you're going to stretch your chest beyond that left knee. If you're on the earth, you can do a pure fold in pigeon. Ekapada Raja Kapotasana for my yoga teacher trainers who need to hear that. Keep stretching the chest open. Soften into that left hip. See if you can make a little space, stretch out that flow. Couple more breaths here. Begin to slowly turn yourself back to center from either your 90s or your pigeon. Get yourself back to dog. And pedal it out, bend and stretch. Maybe take a last flow through here or stay with your down dog and be a little wiggly, explore. Come back to your dog pose for a brief moment here and bring your hands close enough that you can touch your thumbs. And I'm going to walk my hands back just a tiny bit because I'm going to hop around my hands into a malasana. So keep the elbows a little soft, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees, get a little buoyancy here. Again, we're playful, we're exploring, we're enjoying the journey. And whoop, hop up around your hands, come into a squat pose. Or maybe you didn't, but no one can see you. So just get there, however you want to get there. You can tuck your block underneath your seat. You can hover above the earth. Maybe you've got a couple blocks under your seat, and that's a good place to be too. Maybe you're sitting up on the edge of a chair with your feet wide on your couch. Hang out here, stretch your chest open, use a little pressure with elbows on knees. If you're up on blocks, hover your hands above the floor instead of bringing your hands to prayer because that'll make you collapse into your chest. So if you're up on blocks, I want your fingertips hovering. Breathing in and out. Woo, feels good. Little wiggle. Bring your fingertips down to the mat. Lift your hips up a little bit and maybe heel toe your feet together. We're coming down to sit on the earth. So if you have a blanket and you want to tuck it under your seat, you can do that. I'm going to grab my block just for my elbows. We're coming into a wide-legged forward bend. So again, if you've got a blanket, you can use that to lift your seat up so you can kind of pin your inner thighs towards the floor. So coming into a wide leg forward bend, and I'm going to keep my towel handy here, or a strap. Draw the flesh away from your sitting bones and imagine that you could pin your inner thighs towards the floor. So if you had imagine you had a big kangaroo tail on your tailbone and you had to flip that up. You don't want to sit on that kangaroo tail because that's not comfortable. So flip your tail up. We're going on a journey to Australia today. Flip your tail up and back so you feel like you're pinning your inner thighs to the floor. So you're not rolling back on your sit bones. Oh, it feels so much better. Extend out through the soles of your feet, wiggle your toes a little bit here. And leading with your heart, start to bow. And we're working inner thighs and hamstrings here. And take your time wiggling yourself down into this pose. Maybe you bring your forearms to a block or a couple blocks, or you stay up on those fingertips. Your journey this morning, right? Keep your feet active, your heart open. Let it evolve as it evolves. Maybe you're taking it a little slower and you're being really wiggly. You're just kind of wiggling into it and taking some dynamic movement as you go. And that's great. That's what your body needs. Then you go for it. Feels good. Take another breath in and out here. And begin to slowly make your way back up. Begin to bring that left leg slightly forward and bring the sole of the right foot into the left inner thigh. We're coming towards Janu Shirshasana. Now I'm going to give you guys some options as we float through these poses. If you want to keep your strap or your towel handy, I'll give you an option for a twist or a place to go, right? So we'll start with Parsva Janu Shirshasana, so it's a side bend. I want you to take that left forearm and place it at the left inner shin or knee or thigh. Maybe you want to put your block there. Maybe that's too far for you to go, and a block helps you get there, right? So that's why we have the props this morning. And if you don't have them, maybe you're just putting your hand on your shin. So glide into that half shape. Roll those right ribs open. You can even place your hand there as a reminder. So we're staying long, heart open, throat draws back, chin draws back. Don't even reach your arm up and above your ear. Don't do that yet. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here. If you like a slow flow, if you like to stay grounded, stay here. That'll be your place to explore. Maybe As we move into the next pose, you'll take it into a gentle twist. So rising up, turn your chest. Maybe you'll use that strap or towel to take a little twist. Play, explore. If you're coming along for the ride with me this morning, I'm gonna turn a little bit here. So keeping your left or your right shin as it is, bring that left foot in and baby cradle it. So you can bring your hand to your heel and your knee and kind of floss out that outer hip, wiggle it a little bit. Maybe you'll make some circles and row your boat backwards or roll your boat forwards. Maybe you'll pin it in towards the elbow creases as long as you can keep your chest open. I'm cool with that. And breathe some length into your spine here. So we've been working today towards compass pose. And what is a compass but a tool to help you on your life's journey, right? Point you in the right direction. Your true north, whatever that is. So working towards compass pose today in honor of our 2020 graduates, college, high school, kindergarten, whatever they are. All right, so if you're coming along the compass, maybe you take that strap or you take that towel and you loop it around the solar arch of your foot. Take it in your right hand. Begin to pin your left shoulder underneath your leg, coming into a little chaturanga arm with that left arm. So you make a little shelf for your arm, and maybe this is where you go. And you work on sitting up tall and lengthening your spine, just like we did with the bind, not collapsing in. Perhaps you can start to lengthen that leg and take a little baby peek underneath that right arm. Pin that left leg back with your left arm. Roll your chest open. This is why we worked so many hamstrings today. And just be wherever you're going to be. So maybe here and lengthening, or maybe you're somewhere in between all of this, or maybe you're right here. Oh, that was a good pop. And that's where you'll stay. All right, take one more breath in wherever you are. Elegantly, gracefully begin to release from that pose. Whew, that was a big one. Whether you took the twist or you took the compass, it was still a big one. All right, extend your legs and wiggle them out. We'll come to Janu Shirshasana on the other side. So get those sit bones readjusted here. This time we'll lengthen the right leg and fold the sole of the left foot in. So again, maybe you have that block inside of your foot. Maybe you're keeping the strap or the towel handy. Glide the right arm, the thumb side of the right arm to the inner leg. Little pressure, roll that open. Stay as tall as you need to be. Don't feel like you have to grab your heel. You can be all the way up here by your thigh. You can have your hand on a block and still get this pose, right? So left hand to the ribs, and imagine that you're peeling those open. Don't feel the need to collapse into any of this. We're looking for length and breath and space to explore. Soften your shoulders and your jaw. And begin to slowly rise up. So maybe you're coming right back to that. Maybe you're going to take the twist with your hand on a strap around your foot or to your outer shin. Again, play. Do what you need to do this morning. If you're coming along to that compass pose with me this morning, keep the left leg as it is. Begin to bend the right knee. Again, maybe baby cradle with the foot in the elbow crease and the knee in the elbow crease, and rocking your baby, you're hugging your baby. Maybe you're rowing your boat, and this is how you're flossing out your hip this morning, and rowing it forward and rowing it back. Again, be where you need to be. If you're coming along to that compass pose, again, you can use your strap or your towel around your foot. And we're taking that this time into the left hand and pinning the right elbow underneath for that little chaturanga arm. So this might be where you stay, right? You might just stay here and you work your body long, working towards that true north for you, whatever that is, that compass pose at some point. And maybe that's not today. Maybe you're staying with that twisted head to knee pose. All right, if you're gonna extend your leg, you can start to lengthen your arm out on that strap, extend your leg, working those hamstrings, turn your gaze underneath that left elbow and arm. Keep your front body bright. Don't collapse into it. If you're collapsing, stay here and work the front body. It feels so good. Breathe in, fill your ribs, fill your back body, keep your core engaged. Take one more breath wherever you landed. And begin to slowly release the pose. Oh, that was a big one for 10 o'clock in the morning, right? All right, wiggle those legs out, wiggle your knees out, but always a place to go, right? I'm not gonna just throw you into compass pose without some options first. So I hope that you did exactly what you needed to do to be where you need to be today, because it's your journey, you're exploring, it's your path, your dharma, whatever you wanna call it. I'm just talking. I'm just a talking head on the camera, right? All right, come on down to the floor. Grab your strap or your towel or whatever you've got again. I grab my towel for this one. Draw your knees in, loop that towel on your right foot, and give a little stretch and bend. I've got my left leg still bent. Still exploring to see how cranky my low back is going to be when I come down here. So you can do that too. And then you can place that towel in your right hand only and start to swing your leg to the right. Be really mindful. Maybe you want to take your block and place it out there and just let your foot hover on the block or touch the block so that it's not so much of a stretch through the outer hip. And if you've had a hip replacement or for any reason you've got crankiness through your hips or pelvis, that might be a better option, or just stay right here with center. All right, and then slowly begin to bring that leg back up to center, past the strap or your towel into the left hand. Shift your hips slightly right and begin to roll over so that your leg pushes out to the left. Again, maybe you want to take that block and tuck it underneath your leg. Maybe you want to take your gaze to your right hand. My left knee is still bent. You don't even have to lengthen your left leg through this whole thing. Keep your core a little engaged and extend out through the right leg. Whether your leg is on a block or you're hovering or you're taking your gaze to the right, doesn't matter to me. I just want you to explore and enjoy your practice this morning. And slowly begin to bring that leg back to center. Oh, that felt good. Balance your hips out. Extend both legs, point and flex, and circle your toes. And then take that towel or strap and loop it on your left foot. Right sole of the foot comes to the floor until you decide where your low back is. And then begin to extend that left leg out to the left. Again, maybe you've got a block underneath that knee or that shin for support. Perhaps you can hover your foot above the floor. Keep your shoulders soft though. Don't feel the need to grip or grasp or reach for something in particular. Still keeping the journey pleasant. Begin to bring that left leg to center. Pass the towel into your right hand. Shift your hips slightly left and then roll onto that right side. Again, maybe you're extending your gaze towards that left hand. This side is a little more tender for me. Whew! So I'm going to tuck a block underneath, oh, so much better, my left calf. And I'm not even turning my gaze to the left for this one. One more breath in and out here. Engage your core and slowly pass that left leg back to center. Bring your hips to center and both legs up, point and flex a few times. Bring your feet to the earth, feet a little wider than your seat. Open your arms nice and wide and wiper your knees. And again, if you've got, if you've had a hip or knee replacement, it might be easier for you not to have your feet so wide. So just let your knees drop from side to side with your big toes touching. Any last bend or twist or stretch that brings you to the end of your practice. And again, I would invite you to explore, notice, scan your body, what it might still be a little cranky or you might still be gripping, and play with that. Maybe a happy baby or a bridge pose.
As you make your way to Shavasana, perhaps you'd like to place a blanket over your hips for some weight, or if you've got a bolster or pillows to stack underneath your knees, perhaps that, or take that towel and roll it up and tuck it behind your neck. Lots of options. Settle in. Find your shape for Shavasana today. Perhaps you're in legs up the wall, snuggle your shoulders, soften your jaw, and find your breath again. Take a nice long breath in and sigh it out. Smile. Connect to the waves and the rhythm of your breath. Before you start to squelch whatever is going on in your head this morning, give yourself permission to listen, to watch. See what is floating around in your head. What are you feeling? And check in with your physical body. As if you were drawing breath in from your big toes. Feel those waves of breath come all the way up from the soles of your feet, all the way up the front body like a rush of breath. And as you exhale, let that breath float up and around your head all the way down the back body and out into the earth through your heels. Inhale, let the breath wash over the front body, up the chest, throat, all the way up and above your head. And exhaling down through the back body to the heels and back to the earth. As a parent with an 18-year-old child and a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, I don't think a day goes by that I
cease to ask myself the question, am I leading them in the right way? Am I teaching them what they need to know what their true north is, to follow their compass? I'll leave you today with this quote, and you can still rest on the earth. I'll bring you up in a moment. It's actually from a necklace from Brian Anthony's called the Never Lost Necklace. Do not be afraid to leave where you are, to leave your old world behind. Be brave enough to travel to the unknown, to open yourself to something new. Strive to see extraordinary places and meet extraordinary people. Dream with the dreamers, and do what you once thought was unthinkable. Explore with the explorers, and discover endless possibilities. Do not let fear be your map. Do not let comfort determine where you stay. Let curiosity guide you. Let your eagerness for adventure, for diversity, for aliveness lead you. Do not be afraid of getting lost. You may just find what you need. Lose your logic, find your soul. Lose your path, find your direction. Lose your way, find yourself. You have the power to determine your journey. Listen to your heart, and you will always be home. Begin to stretch your body. Take that last stretch or twist or hug. Wiggle your toes and your fingers and begin to wake up. And curl yourself onto your left or right side, whichever chooses you this morning. Press your hands down into the earth and begin to rise up to an easy seated pose. Close your eyes and draw your hands to heart center. As you move off your mat today into your journey, whatever your dharma may be, whatever path you're exploring today, be open to it. Be present. Enjoy the moment. If you're not enjoying the moment, you're not enjoying your life. Sometimes my son throws out a little wisdom here and there, and I know I've done a good job. Thanks for joining me this morning on your mat. I hope you enjoyed our journey to Compass Pose. In gratitude to each of you, congratulations, senior class of 2020. Namaste.